My sister Ellie was always the golden child. She got straight A's, played 3 instruments, and captained the debate team. I wasn't a bad student, solid B's with occasional A's, but according to my parents, I was the underachiever. They never hesitated to remind me how I should be more like my perfect sister. When we were seniors in high school, we're only 11 months apart. I was held back in kindergarten. The college acceptance letters started rolling in. Ellie got into several prestigious universities, including her dream school, Westlake University. I also applied there on a whim, never expecting to get in, but somehow I did. When I showed my parents my acceptance letter, their reaction was lukewarm at best. "That's nice, James," my mom said, barely looking up from her phone. "But how are you planning to pay for it?" The question confused me. They'd started a college fund for both of us when we were born. Or so I thought. That evening, my parents sat us down for the talk. They explained that they had enough saved to fully fund one college education at an elite university. They had decided that Ellie would receive 100% of the college fund. "She's earned it," my dad said flatly. "Her grades, her extracurriculars. She's proven she deserves this investment." My mother nodded in agreement. "James, you've never shown the same commitment. We just don't think it would be a wise investment." I sat there, stunned into silence as tears welled up in my eyes. Ellie looked uncomfortable, but said nothing. "But we're proud you got accepted," my mom added, as if that was supposed to make it better. "You can take out loans, or maybe start at community college." I refused to cry in front of them. "So I'm not worth investing in? After all these years of telling me I wasn't good enough, you're making sure I never will be?" "Don't be dramatic," my father scoffed. "This is a practical decision. She deserved it, but you didn't. Simple as that." Those words burned into my brain. She deserved it, but you didn't. That night, I made 2 decisions. First, I would attend Westlake University alongside my sister. And second, I would prove my parents wrong, not just about college, but about everything they thought they knew about me. I applied for every scholarship I could find. I worked 2 jobs during my senior year, saving everything. I reached out to my aunt, my mother's estranged sister who had always been kind to me, and she offered to help with some expenses. Between loans, scholarships, my savings, and Aunt Caroline's generosity, I cobbled together enough to attend Westlake. My parents seemed surprised when I told them I'd be going to Westlake after all, but not particularly impressed. "Just don't drop out and waste everyone's money," my father warned. Little did they know what I had planned for the next 4 years. At Westlake, I discovered something that changed everything. I wasn't an underachiever, I was undiagnosed. During my first semester, a professor suggested I get tested for ADHD after noticing my struggle to stay focused despite clearly understanding the material. The diagnosis explained so much about my academic history, and with proper support and medication, I flourished. I changed my major from business, what my parents expected, to computer science, discovering a passion and aptitude I never knew I had. While my parents continued sending Ellie care packages and calling her weekly, I received the occasional text asking if I was still in school. I stopped updating them on my grades or achievements. What was the point? Meanwhile, Ellie was struggling. The pressure of being the golden child had followed her to college, and without our parents hovering nearby, she began to crack. By sophomore year, she was on academic probation, battling anxiety and depression. Despite our strained relationship, I couldn't ignore her suffering. One night, I found her crying in the library at 2 a.m. "I can't fail," she sobbed. "They've invested everything in me. I can't let them down." That was the turning point in our relationship. I helped her get counseling, taught her healthier study habits, and slowly, we became actual siblings instead of competitors. She confessed she'd always felt guilty about the college fund situation, but had been too afraid to challenge our parents. "They've always pitted us against each other," she realized. "That's not normal or healthy." By our junior year, I was thriving academically. I maintained a near-perfect GPA, secured prestigious internships, and even published research with a professor. Ellie had switched from pre-med, our father's choice, to education, her passion, and was doing much better. Our parents remained oblivious to these developments. They never visited campus, and when we went home for holidays, they focused on Ellie's progress while asking me surface-level questions about that computer stuff. I kept my achievements close to my chest, biding my time. During our senior year, the unexpected happened. My research project caught the attention of several tech companies, and I received multiple job offers before graduation, including one from Westlake's most successful alumnus, CEO of Meridian Technologies, who wanted me to join their advanced AI division. Ellie was offered a position in Westlake's Education Master's program with a full teaching fellowship. We were both succeeding on our own terms. As graduation approached, our parents finally showed interest in my college experience, mainly because they were concerned about my student loan debt. My father called one evening, his voice dripping with condescension. James, your mother and I have been talking. We know you must have quite a bit of debt built up, and we're concerned about your future. Maybe we can help you find a reasonable payment plan or a decent entry-level job. I thanked him politely and said I'd see them at graduation. What I didn't tell him was that I had already paid off my loans completely with my internship earnings and signing bonus. I also didn't mention that I had been selected as one of the student speakers at commencement, not just for my department, but for the entire graduating class. The day before graduation, Ellie and I had a heart-to-heart conversation in our apartment. They're going to be so shocked tomorrow, she said, nervously fidgeting with her honor cords. I nodded, feeling a strange mix of anticipation and dread. Are you sure you're okay with this? They need to see what they did, she replied firmly. I'm tired of being their pawn. Graduation day arrived with perfect spring weather. Our parents texted that they had arrived on campus and would see us at the ceremony. They still had no idea what was coming. The massive auditorium was packed with thousands of graduates and their families. My parents had secured seats near the front. Thanks to Ellie informing them she was receiving special recognition, which was true. She was graduating with honors in education. What she hadn't mentioned was my involvement in the ceremony. The event began with the standard procession and speeches. Then the dean announced, our student commencement speaker this year is a young man whose research has already made waves in the technology industry. Maintaining a 3.95 GPA while working multiple jobs and conducting groundbreaking research, he exemplifies Westlake's values of perseverance and excellence. Please welcome James Mitchell. I walked confidently to the podium, scanning the crowd until I found my parents. Their expressions were priceless, complete shock mixed with confusion. My father's mouth literally hung open, while my mother clutched her program so tightly it crumpled. My speech focused on overcoming obstacles and finding one's own path, never explicitly mentioning my parents, but making it clear that success often comes despite, not because of, the expectations others place on us. When I concluded to thunderous applause, I could see my mother wiping away tears. The ceremony continued with the academic awards. Ellie received her recognition for excellence in educational studies. But then came another surprise. I was called back to the stage to receive the President's Award for Outstanding Research and the Technology Innovation Award, which included a $50,000 grant. Each time my name was called, I could see my parents shifting uncomfortably in their seats, exchanging bewildered glances. After the ceremony, they found us amid the crowd of celebrating graduates. My father attempted awkward congratulations. James, that was quite a surprise. You never mentioned any of this. You never asked, I replied simply. My mother tried to salvage the moment. We're so proud of both of you. Maybe we should go to dinner to celebrate. That's when Aunt Caroline appeared, embracing both Ellie and me warmly. There are my successful niece and nephew, ready for the celebration. My parents stiffened at the sight of my mother's estranged sister. Caroline set up a wonderful graduation party for us, I explained. All our friends and professors will be there. I paused before adding, you're welcome to come, of course. They looked utterly lost, these strangers who thought they knew their children. By the way, I said casually, I wanted to thank you both. Thank us? My father asked suspiciously. Yes. When you told me I didn't deserve to be invested in, it was the wake-up call I needed. I discovered I didn't need your investment to succeed. I found people who believed in me instead. My mother's face crumpled. James, we never met. And Dad, I continued, about that reasonable payment plan you were concerned about? No need. My loans are paid off. And next month, I'm starting at Meridian Technologies with a 6-figure salary. Their faces drained of all color as the full weight of their misjudgment hit them. Ellie stepped forward. I've learned a lot too. Mainly that your conditional support wasn't healthy for either of us. We're both going to therapy now, together. As we walked away with Aunt Caroline, my mother called after us, her voice breaking. Can we try to make this right? I turned back. Maybe someday. But not today. Today we're celebrating with the people who supported us when it mattered. The revenge wasn't in making them feel bad. It was in succeeding despite them, and in finally seeing our worth, with or without their validation.